we're gonna just start equipping people.
Chet being one of our great campus pastors. Everybody give it up for Chetwin Pete. For those who don't know, I don't mean to give you an Elevation Church history lesson today, but there are 20 physical locations of the church. Of course, watch parties that Danny will mention in a moment all over the world. But Chet oversees one of those campuses for us. And we've been spending the last part of last week preparing how do we continue to minister to people during the week in the time that we can't come together. How do we keep people together? So share a little bit about that, Chet.
Yeah, what I've loved is being able to really just take what God has been doing through EFAM and really just apply some of those same principles to the campus. And so we're starting our Facebook groups, our community groups, where every single location, all 20 locations, have their own community group that you'll be able to join in, be a part of. And so right now, if you're watching, go ahead and find it. Jump in and join that community group, because this is where we're going to be able to minister to our people. This is where we're going to be praying for our people. This is where you're going to be able to share what God is doing. And then not only that, we can continue to have our e-groups. We continue to have leaders that are going to be, because they might not come to your living room, but you'll be able to jump in and be able to, I mean, I just think about the fights that might happen over the next few days because the kids are in the house.
A lot of time at home.
Some people not going to work. You're going to need somebody to talk to. And so we're preparing our leaders to be able to do just that, to just create a space where you still can feel loved, still can feel valued. I'm excited about it. And those are people that may be in Roanoke right now, that are used to Dustin Stradley giving a call to action to be able to invite your friends and family. It's not going to happen maybe in a lobby, but it's going to happen online in our digital groups. Or maybe my man, your husband, Jordan at Riverwalk. It's a good man. I just think about the way that he will stop you and pray for you and give you a word from God. I mean, and you're looking for those moments. It may not be happening at the campuses, but we can make sure that it's happening online.
I love it. We have to.
Very, very practically, we've been talking to you about this throughout the experience. These guys talked about it before the experience, but what are ways, I mean, this is very practical that you can take right now to start surrounding yourself with the community in this season and moving forward for our campuses. How we said, you know, now all of our physical locations are part of EFAM for this season. And so we're coming alongside you and equipping you. And so starting now, our campus pastors and our teams are going to be posting throughout the week in these campus Facebook groups. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, great. I don't know how to get to be a part of that group. So we want to show you how to be a part of the group. So
we've made it so easy. You're going to go to your Facebook page. You're just going to type in Elevation Church into the search bar there. And that's going to take you to our Elevation Church Facebook page. Once you click on that, you're going to look for the groups tab. So if you're online, it's going to be on the left side of the screen. You're going to go over here, there, click that. And then all of our different locations are going to be listed there. And so EFAM, if you're watching this, you guys are the EFAM location. And then all of our other physical locations, it should be super simple. Elevation Asheville right there. You're going to click join group, and then you will be accepted. It'll be an easy process. Don't worry, you don't have to fill out any kind of applications. They will approve you if you're part of the location. And then, like Chad said, you get to be part of some incredible content throughout the week.
Yeah, a lot of our campus pastors will be going live in those Facebook groups. They're going to be having discussions throughout the week, but it's really just going to be home base for you. Throughout the week, you got to be just jumping back into that group every single day, connecting with other people, staying connected to the mission and vision of Jesus, because what we know is, again, it's not a building that makes the church, it's the people that make the church. You can share content, you can invite other people to be a part of this worship experience. EFAM, if you're not a part of our EFAM Facebook group, go there. We're continuing to connect with you through different content and helping you to build community right where you are. But really what excites me about this season is we get to stay together as a family. As a whole family, as a church, doesn't matter where you're tuned in from, we can continue to connect and we will continue to have church. No matter what, we're going to continue to come to you right where you are.
Don't know what it's going to look like every single week, but we promise that we'll do that. And just to go back to what you were saying, that Facebook group, you'll get out of it what you put into it. And so step into it. It's going to be a great season for our church. And thank you guys for being here today.
We'll see you again next week. Show up again. We would love to see you. Stay a part of what God is doing here, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
So, I thought you guys could tell it better than me, because for years now, God has been getting us ready for this moment, and we didn't even know it. When we came and said, let's create an online community where people can really be a part of our church, not just a viewing audience, but really be a part of it. And that has happened. It's been a miracle. Our largest percentage of people who call Elevation Church home don't even live within a 100-mile radius of one of our buildings, because the church is not a building. The church is a people. And we're gathered together today in a different way. And I want Chad, who heads up all of our online ministry. Come on, give it up for Chad Zolo. When you think about diamonds and CZ, you think about Chad Zolo's initials. And so, but he's a real one. Anyway, the thing I wanted you to share, come on, we gotta laugh a little bit. And God has really used you, Chad, and you've done such a great job. Share a little bit of the vision for those who are part of our Lake Norman Gaston campus. Maybe the only time they ever tune in online is when they're on vacation. But today, as we're all here, I want a picture of what our EFAM is looking like and how God has positioned us for this moment.
Yes, it's a great position to be in. And let me just first say that I love how we have leaders of what we're doing that are constantly pushing us forward. It doesn't matter the season, but you guys are constantly pushing us forward to continue to connect with one another, continue to build community together, to have the resources available to connect. And so really our EFAM is around the world. There are people who tune in from all over the globe. And so I'm talking to you. You're part of our EFAM, our extended family, and you show up big every single week. You tune in from YouTube and Facebook, from all over the globe. But here's the thing that I love about what you do. You don't just tune in every week. You get involved. You take it to the next level. You give. You've got generous hearts. You're faithful with your giving. And on top of that, you're not just giving. You're volunteering from right where you are. You don't have to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. You're giving and you're volunteering and you're helping people who give their lives to Christ to connect to another step. And on top of volunteering, you're joining online e-groups, and you might think, what does that even look like? Well, these are people who are using Zoom groups to connect with one another. It doesn't matter their location, but they're connecting in faith, pushing each other forward in faith, taking the message that they heard during the week and talking about how they're applying it right where they are and reaching out to people. You're joining our EFAM Facebook group and connecting with one another and joining us as we go live to encourage one another. And the thing that I love is you might not be here in Charlotte, but Pastor, you said it's not a building. It's a group of people that continue to push forward the mission of Elevation Church. And so thank you for what you do. Thank you for how you continue to be a part of the community of Elevation Church. And thank you to all of our campuses. You're part of the EFAM today. So welcome to the EFAM. And what I love about this is that we're taking a lot of what we've done online and saying this is a perfect position to enable campuses to step right into this. So Chet, what are we doing here coming up real soon that we're gonna just start equipping people?
Chet being one of our great campus pastors. Everybody give it up for Chetwin Pete.
What's up, everybody? What's up? For those of you who came on early, thank you for being punctual. We're gonna wait a few minutes and give people a chance to join. A lot of people said they wanted to join, but I wanted to come on and thank you and welcome you to this live webinar for the Connected Church. As you come on early, I'll share some logistics as we wait for more people to come on. As we go through this, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm going to address all questions at the end because I want to make sure that I get through all the information and keep you guys connected here in a timely manner and don't go on. But I want to make sure I answer questions. I'm willing to stay on as long as I need to answer any questions people have during this interesting time. I want to ask you, if you're on early, if you can put a 1 in the chat room in the comments if you can hear me okay, you can see me okay, just so I know we're good on the technical front. And also, if you can take a moment and share this video to your Facebook page, share it to your friends, other people in the ministry community that you think might get value out of this that weren't on my email list or any of my network list. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see this. So again, if you're on and you can hear me okay, feel free to put a 1 in the chat room in the comments below, just so I know you're hearing me okay, you're getting good audio and video. Just want to welcome everybody. I'm going to wait about 3 or 4 minutes. Thank you for the ones. I appreciate it, Katrina. I appreciate it, Brianna. I'm going to wait a few minutes, give people a chance to come on. But we're going to jump right in. And again, from a logistics standpoint, if you have questions, write them in the comments so I see them in front of me. And then we get to the end with Q&A. I'm willing to answer any questions you have, but I'm not gonna stop middle of the workshop just so we can get through it. But I know sometimes you get a question and you may forget it by the time we get to the end. So feel free to type it in there and I'll have those answers prepared at the end. And again, feel free to share this on your timelines. If you know other people that may see value in what we're doing and the information we're sharing, feel free to put that in. Thanks for everybody for joining. Appreciate the thumbs up. Gonna wait about 2 more minutes just to give the late stragglers to come in and we'll jump right in again. Any questions you have during this workshop, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll answer them at the end. And feel free to share this on your Facebook page, your, via email. Send out the link to anyone you know who might get value from this so that they can join us. Okay, great. We're about 3 minutes in, so I'm going to get going and people can join. First, I'd like to open up in prayer. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to be together. We thank you for allowing us to have the ability to connect virtually, Lord. We know that this was put into your planning for moments like this so that we could always stay connected and we could stay as one body. I appreciate you allowing me to have the knowledge to share with this group that's here today. I thank you for allowing them to be willing and able participants. I thank you for allowing them to hear and take action on the things that we're going to talk about today, that we can keep your body flowing and live, Lord. Continue to bless us and guide us in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Somebody said there's no volume, but I know some people have volume. You have to click on it and there's a little icon. Let me write it. Because if I'm saying it, you can't hear me. Click on the volume. Everybody, this is one community. If you see somebody saying they're having trouble hearing, etc., while I'm going through the workshop, if I don't see it, feel free to let them know. Just click on the volume button icon on the bottom right. When you come on Facebook, it doesn't automatically play the volume. You got to click on it. Okay, you got it. So I'm going to jump right in here. Okay, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time. Today, we're going to talk about 3 tips to sustain and increase growth and engagement in your ministries during this shutdown. It's a unique time in our period, but I want to give you encouragement that there are still ways that you can not only sustain your ministry, but grow them. So I'm going to share that with you today. So first, a little bit about who I am. So I've worked in technology over 20 years, close to 30 years now. I was the former chief technology officer of Black Entertainment Television, former chief technology officer of Radio and TV One. I co-founded a company called GlobalGrind.com with Russell Simmons. I've been featured on places like Black in America with Soledad O'Brien. I've given talks around the country around the technology opportunity. I've worked with individuals, small businesses, and over the last few years, churches. Some of my clients on the gospel side have included Fred Hammond, Erica Campbell, Israel Houghton, Charles Jenkins, and a whole slew of others. And over the last 2.5 years, I've been working with churches across the country, helping them maximize what I call the digital opportunity to not only grow and cultivate, but create local, national, regional, international connections with people who are looking for the body of Christ. And again, my name is Navarro Wright. So just giving you a little bit of background. And as I mentioned before, about 1.5 years ago, based out of need, I created something called the Connected Church. And we work with churches across the country to help them leverage digital as a growth tool. We provide consulting and training. Some of our churches have seen 300% online growth in less than 90 days. Sermons have been seen in over 26 nations. And these are churches that have less than a couple hundred in-person members. 30% increase in online giving. And all of them have seen the phenomenon where people are walking in on a regular basis saying that they're only there because they found them online. So great success stories. Blessed to have been able to connect with these churches and make these things happen. So the first thing is, I don't want you to take notes. I want everybody to be solely focused so that you can hear, you can start your, I have this thing called light bulb moments. I want those light bulb moments to happen as we talk through these things. I'm going to give you a lot of information. So if you text church growth to 1-773-770-4377, I'm going to send you a copy of this entire deck. I'm putting together an equipment list of things you may need, right, at whatever your level that you can buy from Amazon. You could have them at your house or at your ministry by Wednesday, and a list of software that you can use to enable you to start connecting with people digitally. So again, I want people to be locked in and focused. Don't take any notes. Text that number 1-773-770-4377. Type church growth. I'll put it in the comments just so you have it. Okay, that's there. Church growth is all one word. Put it all together. The comment left it a space. So I'm gonna jump through. Again, just feel free to send that, and I'll send this to you at the end of the session. So before I jump in, and one more logistical thing, I told people if questions come up, put them in the comments. We're gonna have Q&A at the end because a bunch of people have come on since we started. So the first thing is, as we all know, yesterday, Sunday, was a new day and time for us, right? A lot of churches were mandated to have smaller groups and connect to them, and some of the larger churches immediately shifted and had only online services, right? If you came here a little earlier, I was playing videos from Elevation, how they talked about how they've reorganized everything to focus everybody online, closed all their campuses. Transformation Church had an online service and donated money to other churches to get them enabled. The Potter's House as well with Bishop T.D. Jakes. These larger churches are being forced to go online. Now, the luxury a lot of them had is that they were already pretty entrenched. They already have full-time staffs to go online. So even though it was work for them, it wasn't a significant shift because they had the foundation there. And a lot of us in other churches don't have that foundation, so we're seeing those challenges. But, we're going to talk through that today. So let's talk a little bit about the current state that we're living in. So look, all events and public gatherings will be postponed or canceled for the next minimum 30 to 45 days. And the reality is, it's not an if, but a when, that churches will be asked to limit, if not cancel, their in-person gatherings, right? And I know that that's created anxiety and fear in people, but that's the reality that we're living in. And at the end of the day, look, it's to maximize people's health concerns, right? To make sure that we can get through this pandemic, not only through prayer, but through action, and keeping our distance and giving this thing a chance to subside. The other challenge is that the current state, that most churches aren't prepared to go digital in a sustained manner. I saw text and posts yesterday that people were streaming for the first time. People didn't know how to stream. People were like, hey, we expected people to show up, but they didn't show up at all. But I'm here to tell you, this is something, if anyone has been connected to me, I've been evangelizing, leveraging digital for years now. And people would say, you know what? I don't need it. It's not a value. It's not there. But, I have a famous saying people always say to me is that everybody thought Noah was crazy until it started to rain, right? So the reality is, now that, if nothing else, this stuff that we're going to talk about today will not only get you through this challenge, but will also set you up for the foundation to grow your church in the future. So a couple things, right? In terms of churches, word of mouth is no longer an option for growth. So you guys know that, and some of the challenges you have, even when we're not in this situation. The second thing is that radio and TV is still overpriced. And I'll be honest with you, as you saw in my background, I worked in radio and TV. It's not an effective means of advertising for ministry, no matter what anyone tells you. And here's the other big thing, is that there are people who live within a mile radius of your church who don't even know that you're there, right? I've had testimonials of people saying to me, people have walked in and said, I've lived here 3 years and didn't know you existed till I found you online. So there is even a growth opportunity right around you. And that's even in normal circumstances, right? The last one is that organic church growth is harder today than it's ever been, right? So I'm sure some of you look at some of these large mega churches and like, hey, when they go online, they get hundreds of people, they get thousands of people, but they have those established audiences through other means. The ability to just go live today and assume you're going to get that growth, it can happen, but it can take a really long time. And the question you have to ask yourself is, do you have that time? Does your ministry have that time? And look, at the end of the day, no one of us thought there would be a day where we could walk into our services and churches and see no one there, right? But the reality is there's an opportunity in this that even though you may see empty pews and seats in your ministry, there's an opportunity for growth. So here's the thing, right? I always like to look at things from a positive standpoint. The reality of this situation is never in any of our history, right? Has there been a period of time when there's no sporting events at any level? There's no shows, there's no new movies, there's no concerts, there's no large social gatherings. So for me, there's no better time for people to focus on their relationship with God. And there's no better time for the church, the body, to connect with people at a deep level while they're sitting at home with anxiety, with fear, with concern, right? To let them know that there's another way. To have a relationship with Christ is the way to do it. And you guys have the tools to enable that. So to me, where other people see this as a challenge, I see this as an opportunity for the body of Christ. Here's the other thing, right? We talked a little bit about this in the earlier slide, but as many of you have looked at ways to grow your church, right? You've looked on the old media side, and usually the biggest barrier is either cost or access, right? Whether we talk about direct mail, whether we talk about physical networking, getting in front of people, television and radio, right? Newspapers, all of those have barriers to entry. But I'm here to tell you today that on the new media side, there's an equivalent for each one of those that has literally no barrier to entry. The reality is that you guys can go on today, as soon as this ends, and start leveraging these platforms to start creating an engagement with new and with potential and current members. So let's talk a little bit about numbers, right? Because as we talk about church growth and sustainability, we're talking about numbers. And I want to kind of change your mind of what big numbers are. So here's, the census as of 2017. I live in New Jersey. There was close to 9 million people in New Jersey. There's close to 2 million people within a 30-mile radius of where I'm standing right now. And I think anybody on this thing would tell you that if you could get a fraction of these numbers to come to your church on a regular basis and worship and fellow with you and give, right, you'd have a flourishing ministry that could impact the community. So, one in the chat room, we all agree those are huge numbers, right? They're big. But let me talk about some new big numbers, right? So you may not realize this, but within a month, there's 182 billion searches that happen on Google. There's 1 billion monthly users on YouTube. There's so many videos loaded on YouTube within an hour that it would take the rest of your natural life to watch them. There's 30 hours of video uploaded on YouTube in a minute. And there's still 300 million monthly users on Twitter. We don't talk about Twitter a lot, but they're still there, right? So again, the first set of numbers were big to us, but these are numbers that are exponentially bigger than any of those numbers that you can think of. And here's an example. I actually showed this to a group of pastors in California the other day. We talk about Facebook. Facebook has 2 billion monthly active users. There's 1 billion on Instagram. There's 250 million on Instagram stories alone. There's 2 billion people who use WhatsApp, which is their messaging app, to connect with local businesses. There's 2 billion people who are on Facebook Messenger. These are numbers that we don't even fathom or think of in our lifespan, but they're ready and available for people to have access to. And if you look on the left, those are some screens from the Facebook ad tool, and I wanted to show them that literally I could go and target everyone in California, or I could target all the African Americans in California and show them my message. That's the power that we have available to us to extend our ministry. And here's the beauty. You can reach all of them, right? No matter, this from your ministries, no matter what people's social, economic situations, almost everyone who comes into your doors has a mobile phone in their hand. And if you look at these numbers, not only do they have a mobile phone, they're accessing it. 96% of the U.S. population has one. 94% use those phones to look up info on local businesses. And I can add churches to that. I didn't say Walmart. I didn't say Target. I didn't say the Potter's House. On local businesses and churches, right? 70% of those people use those to contact those businesses as a result of those mobile searches, right? And then 50% actually connect, actually interact with them because of that. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, where do you need to be? You need to be in a place where when they're using these devices, right, social media, mobile web, etc., they can find you and they can connect with you. So is that good? Has this been valuable so far? I just want to make sure we're getting everything there. Put a 1 in the chat room if this is kind of giving you some good information to think about as we jump into the secrets. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Okay, great. I appreciate it. So now we're gonna jump into the 3 secrets that I want to talk about today that will help you sustain and grow your ministry. Secret number 1, you have to double down on content creation. Secret number 2, and this is the one where I lose a lot of people, you have to redirect the funds you have to promoting your message. And then secret number 3, you have to be ready to engage with your new online audience and have a current online giving mechanism in place. So let's jump through each 3 of those secrets in detail. So here's secret number 1. You have to double down on your content, right? A lot of churches didn't have service yesterday, didn't put up any information. That is the exact opposite way you need to go. You need to double down. Again, remember, I said earlier, there are people sitting at home with literally nothing to do. And I can tell you what they're doing. They're on social media. They're scrolling. They're looking for things. So the power of you being able to interject content with them could be a life changer. So you have to double down on content creation. So the first thing you need to do is you need to show your sermon live. And here's why you need to show your sermon live. A lot of people don't know about. Facebook has a hierarchy of content, right? Content that they will show above others. The first one is they love live video. They want to win in live video. So when you go live, they will prioritize it. Even if you don't have any followers, someone will find your video, right? Because it's live. The second one is people like feeling like they're engaging with something that other people are looking at, right? So even if you post an on-demand video, you know, I may watch it, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like anyone else is watching it, so I may turn away from it. When it's live, you have an intimate connection of thinking someone is connected to you. Now here's the challenge, right? Many churches are equipped to show live services, but many aren't, right? And many are asking questions. How do I start? How big an investment? And I'm here to tell you, you already have a lot of the tools that you need to go live immediately right now. So I'm going to talk a little bit really quickly. This is not a live streaming seminar, but I want to talk about the 3 levels. So the level 1 is you can use mobile phones or tablets. The iPhone 11 has a better camera on it than many of the cameras you can buy at Best Buy, etc. And you can use that to live stream your service, right? There's software out there. You put the logo in the upper right-hand corner. It's called Switcher Studio. So it allows you to take multiple mobile phones and a tablet and create a multicam video live stream to Facebook or YouTube, etc., just using mobile phones and Wi-Fi. I think the cost is like a couple $100, but think about it. Everyone on your ministry serving team has a mobile phone. So literally you could have those phones, put them on tripods, and have a 3-camera shoot of your church using mobile phones with no additional devices, right? And if they all have current phones, right, it'll give you great video, great content. You know, there's plugs you can tie into your sound system. You can throw a mic on top of there. But this is starting as literally as $200 to $300 a month. You could start streaming on your mobile phone. That's level 1. Level 2 is a single camera, right? Connecting it to your system, right? I have a camera here on my desk that's $200 that you could buy right now that gives you high definition, right? And you go up from there, and you could buy a couple of those. So literally, we're talking $600 or $700. You could have a 3-camera shoot coming through your computer. If you're on Macs, there's a great software called Ecamm Live that I'm using right now, $20 a month. You're on PCs, there's a software called vMix. I think it's like $35 a month that gives you all the tools that allow you to go live from a computer, right? So that's level 2. Level 3 is multiple cameras, dedicated equipment, gives you total control of the stream, right? That's where you're putting in your lower thirds for your Bible verses. You're putting your messages in, etc. Right? Again, you could set this up for less than $1,000. I put that image on the bottom there. There's a tool called the A10 Mini that I actually have on my desk right now that I'm using to switch between things. $295, right? You couple that with those $200 cameras. You have a computer. That device allows you to plug it into any laptop and let it show as a webcam. So you can have a 3-camera shoot that looks like the computer just thinks it's a webcam and it's running in there, which lowers the barrier to entry. And then you move up from there. So again, don't get caught up that you see Elevation Church has $100,000 worth of cameras. The Potter's House has $60,000 worth of cameras. Don't get caught up in that. There's an evolution. At the end of the day, I can guarantee you, because I've seen it happen, there are people who are hungry for the word that you're giving, and it's actually a crime for us not to give it to them. So whether it's through a mobile phone, whether it's through a low-cost camera, it doesn't matter. The key is that you're getting their content to them, right? So those are the 3 levels of streaming. So let's continue through this. So the other one is, I'm going to say that you have to show your sermons live each Sunday multiple times. Remember, these social platforms are global, right? So even though you only have one service, you have the ability to show that service through multiple time zones that you can connect with people not only nationally, but internationally. Now, here's the thing. I put in quotes, you have to show your sermons live each Sunday multiple times. I didn't say you had to stream your services live multiple times. And here's the thing about that, is there's a tool here in Facebook. When you upload a video, it'll say, well, you want to upload it as a premiere. And basically, you can take your recorded video, upload it. You can even schedule a time, and Facebook will show it as a live, right? So you get all the benefits of live streaming without all of the headaches, right? So there's many of you who are church plants, who are working out of theaters, who are working out of schools, who don't have access to the internet. So here's a solution. You record it, even if it's on the phone, and the moment you're done, you take that service and you put it as a premiere, and you schedule it throughout the times of day, the same way you would schedule in-person services. And I guarantee you, and I've proven it, no matter when you show that service, someone will see it, because there's always people, 2 billion people across the world, someone will see that service. And what you'll find, and some people get caught up in numbers. Let's stop here for a second. Some people get caught up in numbers. And the reality is if you connect to 5 people that you otherwise would have never connected with, then your ministry is added value, right? So if you do that every week, you're adding value in an exponential way than you can never add by in your physical location. So that's one. The second one is you have to create content around various ministries online. Again, you have a multitude of audiences, a multitude of people, right? Do an online Bible study every week, right? Do a marriage ministry, right? Get your couples together online. Do a teen ministry. Have your young people get on, connect with the teens, right? There's various tools that you can use like Zoom to do a multi-person small Bible group, and you can stream that on Facebook for other people to connect to, right? There's a lot of things you can do. So the same way you have multiple ministries in-house, start coming up with plans to deliver those multiple ministries on social media, right? And then the last one is community outreach, right? The same thing. There are people here who don't have information, who don't know what's going on, who we assume that everyone knows the details of this pandemic, but they don't. So the body of the church has an opportunity to be informative, right? Give community outreach, send things, say, hey, I want to send you this information and let you know, here's where food's available locally. Here's where you can go for resources. Let the people in your community know that not only you're a source for spiritual growth, you're a source for community connection and empowerment, right? So really powerful things. So again, that's probably more than you were doing when your church was open. You got to double down, right, to serve the needs of a multitude of people. So that's secret number one. And here's an example, right? Victor in Christ Christian Center, they do Marriage Mondays. They do it out of their home using a webcam. They've had close to 40,000 people connect online and hear marriage topics, right? Wasn't a huge lift. They put a computer, put a webcam on a tripod, they put some lights up, and they're at home. You can do this right now. Even if you can't get to your church, you can do service this way. You can do Bible study. There's examples of these things that we're doing. A lot of our clients and partners are doing. They're actually seeing success. So that's a visible example right there. But here's the thing. And this is the one that nobody knows, right? You guys are on it, so you're going to get it first. Streaming is not enough. It's not enough. So you hear everybody like, testimonies. I streamed yesterday for the first time. It was great. We're connecting people, and that's all fantastic. But the reality is there were a lot of churches that were already streaming, right? And at the end of the day, you may be able to connect with your existing members. You're going to get some additional members, but you got to do more. You got to do more. So let's jump into the second secret and talk about how you do more. So just to check, if you got value in this, is good so far, right? Put a 1 in the chat room so I can keep going. Keep me encouraged, right? It's hot in here. I got my water here. Keep me encouraged. Okay, great. Let's keep going. Secret number 2. Now, I hope the numbers don't drop to 0 on this one. I hope the numbers don't drop. We start talking about money. People say, oh, I got something to do. Let me drop off, come back later. You have to redirect funds you have into promoting your message. Remember what I said in the beginning. Organic growth takes a really, really long time. And right now, we don't have a long time. You got to be a good steward, and you got to move this stuff into areas that can help you have growth. The same way some of you, let's be true, you'll pay $600 to bring a hot drummer in for praise and worship. You got to be willing to invest this money into something that's going to connect it to new people, right? We got to move and shift things. We got to redirect it, right? So let's go in. First thing, like I said, organic promotion will not help you. You have to take the dollars that you would use on other expenses and use it to promote your church. At the end of the day, there's certain things that you're not doing now. Like, I pray, Lord, that you're not printing out bulletins when less people are coming, right? People, look, we can have this debate a whole nother hour. People leave the bulletins on the pew, etc. Those are dollars right there that you could redirect, that you were already planning on spending, that you could redirect on outreach, right? Here's the thing. The goal for you should be to put your message in front of new people every week. Every week. That should be your goal, that someone new sees your message, right? And that's the goal, because at the end of the day, right, the heart of our ministries are the messages from God that we're delivering to people. And you know that God gave it to you as a conduit, that there's someone out there that needs that message. So we need to do the things to get in front of them. So every week, you need to put it in front of new people. But here's the beauty of it, right? This is where I get excited. You may not know this, right? That money is going to be good seed. It's going to go on good ground, because here's the people you can target to see your message. You can target people who live near your church. You can target people who pass by your church location. They just drive by. They don't even know they're driving by, and they can see your message. They can see your service. People who have liked your Facebook page. This is a big one. Friends of people who like your Facebook page. You ever see a post on Facebook and it says such and such likes this page? That's called social validation. So if you just get all of your members to like your page and you can target their friends, all their friends are going to see a message that is socially validated by somebody they know. So that breaks down the barriers of getting them comfortable to see, let me figure out what this ministry is about. The last one is you can target people who engage with your content on your pages and your websites. Facebook has something called the Facebook Pixel that we can place on your page and we can track. We can have messages based on, they go to the children's ministry page, then they're going to start seeing promos about everything we do in children's ministry. They went to the page about joining, then we start showing them videos of all the reasons they want to join. And here's the big one. They go to the page about giving. Hey, now, here's the link. Let's start giving, right? All of this power is there today, but you got to reinvest those resources and make that investment for growth. Let's continue, right? Here's another powerful thing a lot of people don't know, that you can target people who have engaged in your content. So let's say today, this is all new to you, right? But you've been posting messages, you've been posting images, they've been getting likes, they've been getting shares, you posted videos, clips of sermons, they've been getting their 100 views, 200 views, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing my social thing. You can target anyone who's engaged in your content within the last 365 days. So there may be somebody who looked at a video from yours a year ago that now we can target with new content, right? You can target people who visited your Facebook page, people who visit your Instagram page, people who've watched your videos by percentage, right? So you can basically say, okay, if they watch 10% of my sermon, I'm going to keep sending them more sermons. But if they watch 90%, then I want to send them a video telling them more about the ministry, telling them the things that we do, telling them why they should be a member, telling them how we need to help them, have them give to help us grow this ministry. Imagine that level of control. And that's solely based on their engagement. So let's take a step back. You're getting in front of new people every week. And then you're using this, that based on the level of content they consume, you're showing them more of the right content. And again, let's take emotion out of this, right? If they only watch 5 minutes of your sermon, doesn't mean yours is a bad sermon, right? What it means is we're all so engaged. They could have called it on your phone while they were in the car and shouldn't have been looking, right? They could have been walking through the mall and looking through it. They could have been watching it, somebody came to the door. But at the end of the day, they watched it. And once they watch it, they've shown interest. So now we're just not putting up a billboard and hoping people drive by. We're getting right in front of the people who are there. And again, people who have shared your content, you can target them. And then again, people who have engaged in your content using that Facebook pixel. So really powerful stuff there. The last piece is people who are your members. If you have someone's email address, if you have their phone number, you can upload that into Facebook and you can target them. So that means even your people who have joined or given you information, you can have follow-up information going to them. Excuse me, you can set this up that it's almost automatic. As you get their email, it goes into Facebook, it becomes part of the audience, they start seeing ads. Again, you're keeping the mind of what your ministry is doing in front of those people. And this is the last one, right? If anyone, look, we're all by ourselves. If anyone catches the Holy Ghost on this one and falls out, make sure somebody's near you, put the blanket over you, etc., give you some water. Look-alike audiences. Right? Many of you, right? You may only get 100 views on your video. You may only get 200 likes on your page. Facebook has a tool called lookalike audiences that I can take that 50 people, that 100 people, and say, Facebook, give me an audience of 2.1 million people who share the same interests as those 50. Hey now, 50 to 2.1 million. I could stop right now. I could end the stream. I could end the stream right now. Imagine being able to take those 50 or 100 people and then having an audience that Facebook says share the same interests, because here's the secret. Facebook knows everything about us, whether we want to know or not. They know what we click on, what we watch, etc. But instead of being mad about it, let's use that to our value to say, Facebook, create these lookalike audiences so I can just keep putting my message in front of new people and growing my audience, right? Again, you can use those based on member info. So those same emails that you have of your members, you can create that audience and say, give me a lookalike audience. Those engagements, people who've watched your video, create that lookalike audience. People who've gone to your website, that lookalike audience. People who've gone to your Facebook and Instagram page, that lookalike audience. And then it has degrees. So the 2.1 million is the people which thinks most connected. You can extend that out and get close to audiences of 10, 15, 20 million people who may not be as connected, but it still gives you an audience to target. That's game changer. That's game changer, fellas, ladies. Everything. That's game changer. Let's keep going. Now here's the last one. Retargeting, right? Every time, everybody here, whether you realize it or not, you've experienced retargeting. And that means you go look at a pair of shoes or something on Amazon and that thing follows you to the ends of the earth till you break down the spirit and lay down your credit card, right? You can do the same thing with your ministry information videos, right? You can promote your service times. You can give people information about joining. You can show them content based on their interests. Calls to action. Hey, join us live. Here's how you give. Here's how you join, right? You can have messages set up that if I watch a message, then I immediately get a message from the pastor afterwards thanking you for watching the message, giving you calls to action. That can all be set up based on people watching your content, right? So you can continue to put this in front of people so that they build comfort. In marketing, they say that it takes close to 10 touch points for you to make a purchase decision, right? Some of you is 2. I'm going to pray for you, deliver you from that. But everybody else is 10. So if it's 10, how many times, you think somebody's going to look at your sermon and immediately make the decision to come through your doors to become a part of your ministry? It may be that good. It may, they're God sent. But the reality is they want to build comfort. And in this modern day, people want to know that they're going to be welcome in your ministry. And what better way for them to understand that is seeing your messages over time. Seeing messages from the pastor, from the ministry leaders, seeing messages about what you're doing in the community, right? So again, even if it takes them 6 months, right? We got all these audiences. We're moving people through that. If we have 100,000 people who are on that 6-month span to become a member of your church, we're okay to only 10% a month make that switch. We are. The challenge you guys have is that you have 10 and you're stressing that those 1 or 2 people are on that 6-month span. I'm saying we need to widen the net, and this allows us to do that. And this allows you to what I call evangelize at scale, right? Because I know that you've watched my stuff. I know that you've had initial interaction with me. I want to share with you more. It's the equivalent of the greeting line at the end of service. And all the pastors on here know that greeting line is too long anyway. I'm just being real. It's hot in here. We're all stuck in. This is powerful. Let's keep going. And here's the real. I said it earlier. I found this stat out and I almost lost my mind. Churches spend an average of $10,000 a year on printing, pamphlets, bulletins. And you all know that when the ushers go through at the end of service, 80% of those bulletins are laying on the pew. They're in the lobby. They're in the bathroom. But you're spending $1,000 because there's 5 people in your church saying that that's how they how to get their information to get by. Here's a stat I showed to some people. I said for that same $10,000, right, I could create an ad in Facebook. And it can be shown, I'm putting my glasses on so I get these numbers right. It can be shown to a potential audience of 7.9 million people. I can show that to 3,500 to 9,200 people a day out of that audience with that same $10,000. Now you tell me, isn't that a better use of that money than printing those things out? But here's the beauty of it, right? Don't get scared by that number, because for $5 a day, I can reach about 1,000 people with an ad. So it's not the extreme. I'm just trying to show you, because people's first complaint is that, well, we can't invest in this. You're investing in things that aren't giving you a return. I'm showing you things that can grow your ministry on a systematic basis. I have one. Just thought of this. I have one client out in the West Coast who basically got rid of everybody. This is I'm not speaking blasphemy. He got rid of printed pamphlets, and he reinvested all of that money into growth. Let's keep going. Is this good? I'm checking. We're rolling. Numbers are good. Ones in the chat room if that was valuable. Secret 1 and 2. Are we good? We on the trajectory up? Give me some ones. Show me the love. Okay, let's keep going. Secret number 3. You need to be ready to engage with your new online audience and have a current online giving mechanism in place. And I'm speaking to some people on here. I'm not talking about Cash App. Sweet Jesus. If somebody says to me that they have Cash App as their giving mechanism, I'm going to lose my mind. I told somebody that Cash App is the equivalent of selling fish sandwiches out of the trunk of your car. And the reason being is, I know it's quick and it's easy, but it doesn't give you the information you need to have a lasting relationship with those people. And it's not efficient, right? It's just not efficient. So let's jump into this. So you need to engage with your audience during any content that will be live on social media. That means you need to assign elders, deacons, ministers to be in the chat room, right? There's a way you can set them up as an admin or a moderator so that their names aren't necessarily there and they can give it from the church, but they can connect with people. Because as people are watching your message, they looking for guidance. They're like, wow, this really hit me. It's a troubled time in your life. The video interrupted is coming up. Oh, I don't know. If everybody, is that good? Let me make sure it's working. All right, somebody said video interrupted, but it looks like it's good for me. If it put ones in the chat room, I'll pause for a second and everybody still hears me. Because this is good. This is valuable stuff. I want you to miss it. Son, you just check your internet connection. I'm not getting that from anybody else, so I'm going to keep rocking. So, again, you need to have members engaging with people, right? There's a whole campaign I've done with some people around prayer requests. And look, we'll talk about this at the end. There's a lot of people out here, who are offering different solutions around doing this. So yeah, you can do prayer requests. But again, the first time I hear from you, it doesn't want to be a prayer request because I don't know you. I don't know if I want you praying for me. I need to know that you're connecting in a way that's going to add value to my life. And the way I do that is through the sermons, right? So while you're doing this content, you want to be engaging with them, answering their questions. You'll be surprised. People are like, well, where are you? When do you have service? Who can I connect with? All of those things will be happening in the chat room of these platforms, and you need to be connected there so that you can go live. So that's one. And then the last one is you need to have an online giving solution in place that supports text giving, right? And that's why, I'm saying now to Cash App, because if I don't have Cash App, I don't give, right? But if you use a solution like Tithely, and you add the text to giving option, you can say text this word to give, and it handles that transaction, right? There's a bunch of them out there. I picked Tithely because you can sign up for free, and they just take a chunk of your giving. And I think the text to give option is like another $20, so you can get more and add more to it. You can get other ones that cost more money, but I think that's a good place to start. So that's secret number 3. So before we jump into questions, I'm going to jump past that. Let me ask a question. Has this been valuable so far? I need one more set of ones if this has been valuable, if you have some information that you feel like is going to help you navigate through this next week. Give me some ones. So I want to jump into questions, but before that, I want to answer some questions that I know a couple people have. And the first question I get when I do these sessions are, how can you help me, right? So as I mentioned, I've been doing this for the last year and a half, helping churches across the country of various sizes grow their ministry, consult with them, and train with them. So what I've done is I've created 2 things that will allow me to help you guys at scale. The one is, it's called the Connected Church Growth Course and Membership. And what that is I have basically created step-by-step instruction where you can sit over my shoulder and watch me do all the things that I've walked you through today and more, right? We didn't talk about creating Facebook groups. We didn't talk about creating an online store for your ministry, right? There's other areas of targeting that you can do and you walk through, you sit over my shoulder and you walk through setting that stuff up with me, right, in on-demand courses. The other thing, and I've added this just for this, is normally that membership has monthly calls. I'm upgrading them to weekly calls. So if you're in this, every week we get on a live Q&A call. You basically come to my questions. Last week we did this. Last week we did that. How do we change it? This stuff is going to evolve. We're there with you. So you basically get me consulting you on a weekly basis. And I'm probably going to go live more than a week. What do I got to do? I can't go nowhere, right? So we get in there and we talk about it. I'm going to give you extra tips. I'm going to start extending you into different platforms, right? But the beauty is you have that there. So that's one. The second one is, some of you are like, I don't have a staff. I just want to get going. So we have a done for you service where I basically do all the setup. We set it up. My team and I, we get it going. We get you there. We're running ads for you. And in the done for you service, you also get the course. So let's say you said, I want to move forward, but I need time to learn, but I don't want to wait, right? So we're doing it for you. We're building that foundation. And then you're looking at the classes, you're learning, you're getting comfortable, and you take that over, right? So those are the two options. Again, these have, I've been doing this for a long time. These have values to them, right? The Connected Growth Choice, this is hours of me taking all the knowledge I've done from working with multiple churches, working at some of the biggest companies in the world. Again, everybody, there's a lot of people out here doing this stuff, and I don't knock other people, but there's a lot of people doing it who they've done it for their church, and now they're telling you how to do it. I've done it for millions of people. I've done it for some of the largest people in various industries, and God told me to do it. So I've taken all those skills and aligned them so that you think not just how to grow as a church, but how to grow as an organization, right? These tools apply to you, and I've taken them to measure them to how exactly you can grow on a systematic basis, right? So again, that's there, the done for you service there. And again, the course is included if you do done for you service. And let me keep going. So there's a bonus. So I don't know what happened there. It's late. The weekly live training for your team. If you take the done for you service, your team and I get on a call. We talk directly about your ministry, etc. If you're in the course, it's a group call. That's a bonus for you, right? And let me talk a little bit about this, right? Because everybody's like, oh man, he's offering something. But again, just like a lot of you guys understand, there's a business in keeping your ministry going, and this allows me to support many of you and I can show you other places that are charging like thousands of dollars just for the course. And to me, I'd rather help 1 million people at a lower dollar amount than help a few people and get a lot of their money, because that's not why God had me do it. And I'm not eating from this, I'm seeding from this, right? This company has various streams of revenue. This is something God told me to do because I know it's going to add value. But let's jump in, right? At the end of the day, look, there's two types of people, especially in this situation, right? You can accept things how they are, right? You can deal with the challenges, but like, I'm not going to shift or change. I'm not going to move forward, right? And I use this example. My son and I went to the Six Flags water park, and we got there, and the lines were through the roof. And, I'm like, oh, I just wanted to spend the day with my son on these slides. At this rate, we're going to ride 3 slides and be done for the day. So I had a decision to make, right? I was like, either I could take things as they are and we could stand in the hot sun and talk a little bit, or I can make an investment and buy a fast pass, which I didn't want to do. I had already paid to jump in, but I made the investment. People were looking at us ugly as we were walking by, riding slides 3-4 times. And I use this because I think it's a great analogy that sometimes you have to invest to move your things forward. That's just life. It's not just the ministry, it's just life. And you have to recognize what's more important to you, your time or making the investment to move things forward. Bonus number 2, right? In the spirit of giving, anyone who joins, right? Again, I want to help as many people as possible, and I want to share in it. So anyone who joins, you get an affiliate link, and any other ministry you tell about joining that use your affiliate link, you get 10% of their fee to you, whether they join the Done For You service or whether they join the course. Because I don't want people to hoard it. I want to give it to as many people as possible. And I want you to feel like the same way. If I was a member of your church, I would give you 10% of what I gain. If you're a member of the Connected Church, I'm giving you 10% of anybody you refer. I think that's overly fair, and I think that applies to the principles that we all go by. Look, at the end of the day, each week new churches are starting to leverage these opportunities to impact the larger audience, right? So you have to make the choice, and this is the same thing as people tell you that I was saying before this. This crisis, this outbreak has just amplified what people need to do, right? But each week, there are people who are leveraging these tools and connecting and building their ministries and growing audience. We all know, we've seen some ministries that you may have been in existence for decades and they've come out of nowhere and they've grown like crazy because they've leveraged these, right? They've leveraged these tools and strategies and they've put a focus on that. Each week you wait, you're missing the opportunity to connect with people who need to hear your message. That's just honest as I can get, right? And at the end of the day, God gave you that message to give to somebody. You have to do what you need to do to get in front of as many people as possible. And here's the other stat. Again, you know, we don't like to think of churches as businesses, but we're in the business of saving souls. So at the end of the day, it is a business. The reality is, when I did the research, is that for each new tithing member, it's an average of $1,026 to your ministry. So if you're giving value and you're helping people on their spiritual journey and they're growing them and they become tithing members, that allows the church to grow and connect with more people. That's the business model. That, if we want to be honest, is the reason why a lot of people are concerned, because that business model typically for many churches requires person-to-person interaction. And what this pandemic has done is taken that away. So now you're concerned. But I'm here to tell you, there's churches that exponentially, you don't believe me? Download Elevation Church's annual report. Most of their giving comes remotely. It doesn't come from the people inside their four walls, right? Because they've built that foundation to do that. So again, and remember the numbers I showed you before, there's a lot of people out here who need God. And there's enough people out here that we can all give them the inspiration they need, and we can all have flowing abundant ministry. God wouldn't have told you to start a church if he didn't think that there was an abundant audience waiting for you there. It's just the reality of it. But this is what's most important to me, right? So we can talk about numbers, we can talk about giving, we can talk about all that other things. But the reality is, at the end of the day, is messages like this. And this came from one of our Connected Church clients. They saw this comment. I gotta put my glasses on, I can't see. And this is what the person said. They said, today I was having a really bad day, a bad week actually. And it all came to a head today. Someone who I don't even really know, just friends with on Instagram, without me ever even mentioning anything to them, sent me a link to this. I finished watching this half, and it's just what I needed to hear and be reminded of. Thank you. I'm going to watch the rest now. Now, a couple things had to happen for that to happen, right? That ministry had to start extending and growing themselves to put in front of new people. To give, it wasn't even direct. They inspired someone who in turn was inspired to send to someone else who God let them know that was in need. To me, if you connect with one more person who has that impact, then this is all worth the time and effort. But I know it won't be one person. It'll be exponentially growth in people, because there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of millions of people who are in that space in normal times, not to mention pandemic times. And again, all we're talking about and all the Connected Church is about is connecting your church with the ability to connect to people, right? And you have a unique opportunity in this unique window in time to do that. So here are the prices, right? So for the Connected Growth Church Choice, there's it's $297, and then I'm giving you 30 days free of the membership. So after the $297, it's $47 a month. And I'll be honest with you, you could join this month, do it through this, and you can cancel at any time. You get to keep the course, but you don't have to stay in the membership. But the membership gives you the weekly QA calls. It gives you any new course, any new training I give. As long as you're a member, you never pay anything more than the $47 that you're paying in the membership. The $297 is for the main Connect Church Growth Choice that you get whether you leave after a month, etc. You get that course, right? You get the step-by-step video instruction. You get the weekly live calls. The Done For You service is $2,000 a month for a minimum of 3 months. That's us basically managing your social growth, managing your ad spend, creating the ads for you, targeting the audiences, and at the same time, you still get the weekly live group calls. You get a weekly call with just you and your ministry, and you also get the course. And at the end of the day, that breaks down to $500 a week. Like I said, some churches will hire a piano player for $500 a week to jazz up their praise and worship. This is helping you grow your ministry. So before we go into Q&A, I appreciate the people who've stuck with me. I end every talk I do with this photo. So this is the guy who invented WhatsApp, which is the mobile app owned by Facebook, signing the $15 billion deal that Facebook gave him for his company. That's right, $15 billion, on the door of the welfare office where he collected food stamps. So I'm gonna let that marinate. $15 billion welfare office. And I show this because, to me, this is the big example of seed time and harvest that I could ever show. This person, in the scheme of the world, had nothing. They were on food stamps. But God seeded an idea in their mind, and they cultivated it. So imagine how many times they went into this place and they were like, oh, I got an idea for this app. And this person said, you know what, shut up. You're collecting food stamps like me. And that person realized their journey, which is why they made Facebook people get up, follow him to the food stamp office so he could sign the $15 billion deal, because that was his harvest. So if you think about that, right? This opportunity that we're in right now is our seed time, right? It's our seed time because we have the ability to connect with people in ways that we couldn't connect with even before today. And at the end of the day, if we do this seed time right, I can't imagine the harvest is going to come, because people are going to walk out of this and they're going to have impressions. Their impressions are either going to be life is full of hope, lack of hope, disparity, anxiety, or they're going to be like, you know what, during this time I was able to connect with God in a way that otherwise I wouldn't have been able to connect with. And we as the body in Christ have to be tools of that. So with that, again, like I said, you can join. If you join today, literally 5 minutes later, you'll get your login. You're in the courses. And again, what I didn't mention before is that course, I'm continuing to add to it. So it's a living and breathing course just right now, because I was actually almost done recording a new version of it, and this happened. So I put it out there. There was already like 5 hours worth of content in there, and there's going to be some more. And then from the membership standpoint, you get new stuff every month, new tips. We didn't talk about creating a podcast. We didn't talk about creating an online store. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. And the done for you services, right? There's limited spots available. I could lie to you, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, I've been getting emails and calls, because I've been saying this to people for over a year now, saying, hey, now I'm ready. So those spots are limited. So if you are thinking about the done for you service and you're like, I just need to have a conversation. Sorry, that's covered with my face. I'll get rid of it. Hold on. But you can book a 15-minute call with me at the connected.church/book. But I'm begging you and asking you, please don't book a call if you're interested in the course. You just buy the course or you don't buy the course. But if you're interested in the one, we'll do a 15-minute call. But again, we only have limited spots. There's only so many ministries we're going to be able to manage directly. That's part of the reason why we created the course, so we could do it in mass. So if it's something you think you want, it's on the order form at that first link. Just do it. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into questions. So first, just one last time, was this valuable? Was this helpful? Just give me ones in the chat room if this was valuable and helpful before we jump, as I scroll through and look at these questions. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So I see a couple questions here. Please add more questions if you have them now. So the first one is, how do you stream a Zoom meeting on Facebook? So when you go to Zoom, let me put myself back on here. So when you buy Zoom, Zoom has a webinar add-on, which is $30. I think $39. Sorry. And in that, when you go in the Zoom meeting, and you click on the button down at the bottom, it'll say stream to Facebook or YouTube. You can't stream to both. You have to stream one or the other. I always say, when in doubt, go to Facebook, and I'll explain why in a second. But then you can operate as a Zoom meeting. You can send out the link. You can have people on talking, etc. But then you can stream that to your Facebook page, to your Facebook group, and people can watch. And you can have a link if people want to join in and talk. So Zoom works based on the level you buy into, how many people you can have in the meeting. So I think the mid-tier is like 100 people in the meeting. But if you buy the lowest one you can get, and then you add the streaming add-on, then you can stream in. And that's actually a little hack. If you don't have a great setup for church, you could, connect the camera. And, if you send me, when you get that email by using the number, send me, hey, we want, there's ways to connect cameras to Zoom, and you could Zoom your service and then stream it to Facebook too, right? That's a hack, but it can be done. But literally, that's what you do: is you buy Zoom, you buy the license, and you put the webinar ad in, and you can stream. A friend of mine just did a whole full day conference. Joy Morgan Ministries, Joy Morgan Motivates, did a full day conference virtual conference on Zoom on Saturday. It was fantastic. So just using those tools. So that is one example. Let me scroll down here and see if there's any other questions. What was the 773 number again? Hold on. And that's church growth, one word. Sorry, I was typing fast, but I put that in the lower left-hand corner there. Text church growth, one word, to 1-773-770-4377. Just checking in if anybody has any questions. Okay, great. I'm happy to stick around and answer questions, but again, I won't hold you longer. Feel free, if there's someone you think would get value from this, feel free to share this with them. I'm probably going to try and do these. I think as this pandemic goes on, more and more people are going to be looking for options. So I'm probably going to try and do this a little more often. But again, you know, if you're looking to grow your ministry, jump right in. You can get started looking at those lessons today. You can take the sermon you did yesterday and start putting it in front of more people, and you'll be fully prepared by next Sunday. And again, you know, the done for you slots are going to be limited. So if it's something your church is interested in, just click on that link, or, you know, book a 15-minute call. I mean, I have 10 tomorrow. So my goal is to help as many churches as possible. We'll get through this. And yeah, if no one has any questions, I'll let you guys go. I appreciate the time, and God bless. The stream info with Ecamm. So when I send you that email, it's going to have a link to Ecamm, to vMix, to different equipment options. I'll get that equipment list to you guys today. And for anyone who joins the course, that equipment list will be in the course as well. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Be safe. Sorry, now questions coming in. Do you highly suggest? Yes. If you're on the Mac, I love Ecamm. It's better than Wirecast or any of the other ones. If you're on the PC, use vMix. All the options, like the lower third I just put up for the text number, all that stuff is built in standard, and it's dirt cheap. It doesn't take a lot of power. That and the other equipment I mentioned, I mean, I'm in my office, and I think the quality of this, I'll switch it back. I think the quality of this is pretty high level, and my setup is less than $1,000. All right, guys, take care. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the course. Again, follow the page. I'll probably be going live with different things as well. But I hope this was a blessing. Take care. God bless.